Everyone, you are on task 37.1 and here we are going to get introduced to the term linkage. In this video, you are going to study about what is genetic linkage, what kind of gametes are produced by the condition where two genes are found on two different chromosomes, and types of gametes formed when two genes are on the same chromosome but far apart. Finally, types of gametes that will be formed when two genes are close together on the same chromosome. So let us look at two conditions over here. One is where gene A and gene B are located on different chromosomes, that is the box on the left, and the box on the right are showing us the situation when two genes are far apart from each other but they are located on the same chromosome. Again, gene A and gene B. Blue represents chromosomes that this diploid cell has inherited from its paternal side or father, and pink represents the chromosomes that this diploid cell has inherited from its maternal cells, that is the egg. You can see that if the genes are on the different chromosomes, then four types of gametes will be formed, and which allele is going into which gamete is completely independent of each other. So law of independent assortment is ensuring that capital A and small a are never together in the same gamete. And the possibility of capital A, capital B, capital small a, small b, small a, capital B, and capital A and small b type of gametes are 25% each. This is the case when both the genes are on different chromosomes and segregation has happened. On the second case, four different types of gametes will be formed here, but two types of gametes are exactly same as the mother cell, that is capital A and capital B are together, small a and small b are together in the gamete. But there are two variants of gametes which are recombinants, means they have characteristics which are fully new, not same as the parents. One is this gamete where a small a has now combined with capital B, and one is capital A and small b. What is the reason why we are getting two recombinant type of gametes? The reason is crossing over that happens in prophase 1 of meiosis. So in this case, because both the genes are on the same chromosome, there is a possibility that due to a formation of chiasma over here, the segments of chromosomes got interchanged between the homologous pairs. So now capital A may be with B, small a may be with capital B. In this case, that is completely impossible because both the genes are on different chromosomes, so different chromosomes never cross over. Only homologous pairs cross over. Okay? So in this case, the recombinants are present for different reason, that is law of segregation, and in this case the recombinant type of gametes, these two, are found because of law of the crossing over and chiasma formation in meiosis 1. Let's look at the first case where the genes are on different chromosomes, gene A and gene B, and where we get 25% chance of these four type of gamete formation. What is the explanation to this? When genes are on separate chromosomes or very far apart from each other, very far apart on the same chromosome, they will assort independently. They will segregate and they will assort. That is, when the genes go into the gametes, alleles received for one gene does not affect the allele received for the other. Now, in case of a diploid cell where the genotype is capital A, small a, capital B, small b, means it is a double heterozygote, then it will form four possible type of gametes with 25% frequency of having any combination. Okay? Any combination of alleles of these two genes. Why is this the case? Genes on separate chromosomes will assort independently. Means if gene A and gene B are on different chromosomes, they will assort independently. Gene A alleles don't depend on or have no rule as to they will only pair with capital B or small b. It is a pure random chance. This is because of homologous pairs crossing over during this is because of random orientation or random manner of separating during anaphase 1, okay, in meiosis. So let's look at this case where we are just looking at gene A. Now, chromosome on the left side of the image has to undergo DNA replication before it starts meiosis. So when, let's say this blue chromosome and this pink one are homologues, okay, so when they undergo S phase, they will form duplicates of each other, but these are sister chromatids and they are still a part of same chromosome. So this is a homologous pair in non-duplicated form. This is after S phase. Now the chromosomes will condense and get ready in the interphase end to start meiosis. So homologous chromosomes are paired chromosomes that carry the same genes but different alleles. One member of each homolog pair comes from the organism's mom and the other from its dad. So remember, blue represents the same organism. This is the same organism's chromosome, but one is inherited from the father and one from the mother. So please don't think that this is the father's chromosome and this is the mother's. This is that organism's chromosome whose cell we are studying, and this organism is inherited two same chromosomes, one from the father, one from the mother, and these are the homologues. As illustrated in the diagram, the homologues of each pair separate in the first stage of meiosis, that is meiosis 1, where the sister chromatids separate after crossing over. In this process, which side the dad and mom chromosomes of each pair go is random. So after meiosis 1, which side capital A will go and which side small a will go, that is completely random. Okay. Now let's look at two genes. So we saw the previous diagram where gene A is duplicating before meiosis. Let's say that there are two chromosomes that we are studying about this organism, and our genes of concern, gene A and gene B, are located on two separate chromosomes. Now, before starting meiosis, this individual, this organism having these two chromosomes, will first undergo DNA replication. This is how DNA replication will look like. Now, there are two possibilities that after meiosis 1, the daughter cells may look like this, or the chromosomes will arrange like this in the daughter cells. Either this daughter cell will arrange like this, okay, and then spindle fibers will attach to the sister chromatids and pull them to opposite poles, or they will arrange like this randomly, and this half of the cell will receive this chromosome and this chromosome, whereas this half of the daughter cell formed from this pole, will get one of the blue A genes and one of the pink B genes. Okay, this is purely random, two possibilities at metaphase 1. Then after metaphase 1 is anaphase 1. Here the telophase will happen and the two daughter cells will separate. Then starts meiosis 2. This image that you're seeing is meiosis 2, and in meiosis 2, the sister chromatids will separate at anaphase 2. Okay, so in possibility 1, we will have these kinds of gametes. Okay, capital A and capital B in the same gamete, the other capital A and capital B in the other gamete because they are in duplicates. So these two gametes are exactly like the parent cell, and again these two chromatids will segregate here and form these two type of gametes. In our possibility 2, our chromosomes have realigned. Okay, so all the paternal chromosomes won't go to one cell like this one. So look at what the gametes will be formed here. In this case, because our gene A and gene B are on different chromosomes, we are going to have some gametes which will have small a and small b type of gene, an allele, and then some gametes will have small a, capital A and small b type of gene in their gametes. Look at the frequency. So there will be 25% of gametes of each genotype shown. Now let's look at another situation that we saw in the first slide. Out of the two situations, our second scenario was when gene A and gene B will be on the same chromosome but very far apart from each other. In that case, they will assort independently due to crossing over. This is a process that happens at the very beginning of meiosis, that is in prophase 1, in which homologous chromosomes will randomly exchange their chromosome segments. So, crossing over can put new alleles together in combination. That means if on the same gene, if on the same chromosome, there are two genes that we are going to study, crossing over can lead to exchange of these two genes and their alleles. Let's see how this will look. Especially, let's see how crossing over will look when two genes are on the same chromosome but very far away from each other. We will see 25% frequency of different gametes again. So this is our situation where gene A and gene B are on the same chromosome. You're looking at their homologues. Blue comes from the father and red has come from the mother. And these are the chromosomes of the cell that we are studying, the individual, not that individual's parents. You are looking at homologous chromosomes of a cell. So that's why gene A's loci is same on both the homologues. Gene B's locus is same on both the homologues. Now they, at prophase 1, they will intertwine with each other. That is, they form synapse and crossing over will happen. Now when crossing over happens, it occurs at random positions. Let's say crossing over didn't happen over here, but crossing over happened here. So there is a chiasma formation here. Because of the chiasma formation in this region, one of the sister chromatids will swap their chromosome segments. Now look at what happened to the genetic composition of the homologues. It changed. Okay. So when genes are far apart from each other, that's what happens. Now let's see, if genes are very close together on the same chromosome, crossing over will still occur, but the outcome in terms of gamete production will be different. Instead of assorting differently, the genes will tend to stick together and they will be passed together as units. This is the case which we call as linked or genetic linkage condition. So here we have both gene A and gene B together, but they are very close to each other. So when this cell will undergo meiosis, it will form 4 types of gametes. Okay, out of which 2 types of gametes are exactly like the parent cell. That is, either whole of this is getting inherited or whole of this. But there is also a possibility that there will be a small crossing over happening in this gap, a chiasma. Because of this, a capital A can combine with a capital B, small b. A small a can come along with or get inherited in a gamete with a capital B. So this will how the gametes be like. Now look at the probability or the chances of gametes having these genotype. About 48% and 48% are same as the parental cell's genotype, but a very small number of gametes are recombinant types. This is going against Mendel's predictions. According to Mendel's studies and experiments, we should have had 25% of each type of gametes. Why did we not have 25% of each type, but the recombinant chances are very low, percentages are very low, only 2%. Let's understand this. The common type of gametes, which are the parental type alleles combination, are the ones that were already together on the chromosome in the organism before meiosis. The rare type of gametes, that is the recombinant ones, that is the ones can only form if the recombination event has happened. Means if crossover, which is very rare to happen in such a small distance, then common type of combination will not be seen. You will see some recombinant variety. Now, because crossover doesn't happen at such small distances, or it happens randomly, there is a high chance that when crossing over is happening, A and B will get inherited or will link and swap together. So if you look at this diagram, it will be more clear. There is a very low chance that a chiasma will be formed in such a short segment of chromosome. Most of the time chiasmas are bigger. So bigger segments get swapped, and in that bigger segment there may be many genes. But because A and B genes are so close to each other, when this non-sister chromatids crosses over with this non-sister chromatid, capital A and small b can swap, small a and capital B can swap together. Something like this can happen. But this is very, very less common. Okay, that's why the percentage of recombinant type of gametes in case of linked genes, these are linked genes. They're very close to each other, so they're linked. So percentage of recombination is very low in these areas. Other parts may have swapped, but genes which lie close to each other, within them crossover chances are very low. Let's understand why the chances are rare. The basic reason is that crossover between two genes that are close together are not very common. Crossovers during meiosis happen at more or less random positions along with the chromosome. So the frequency of crossover means chances of number of crossovers in one bivalent between two genes depends on distance between them. If the two genes distance is very small, there is a very low chance that the crossover will happen in this region only. There is a chance that there will be a bigger chiasma or another position of chiasma, but having a chiasma just between A and B gene, chances are very low because A and B are so close to each other. There's a chance that they will fall in one small segment that is getting swapped. So let's look at this example. I will ask you to pause the video over here and try to answer this question, which says it shows a chromosome and the chromosome contains gene A, B, C, D and E. You have to state two genes which will be able to produce least number of recombinants. Okay, so which two genes as a whole, when the whole chromosome undergoes meiosis, chances of which two genes getting recombined, means swapping, is very low. Pause the video and try to answer this question. Okay, thank you for pausing. Let's see if you understood how to answer this. So the answer is genes A and B. Let's say this chromosome undergoes S phase and it will form its sister chromatid. And on the other hand, this chromosome will also have a homologue. Okay. Now, when the homologues will cross over in meiosis 1, there is very low chance that a chiasma will be formed in this region, and very low chance that A and B genes will separate after the answer says gene A and B loci are so close that the likelihood of random crossing over or chiasma formation between them is very low. Let's look at another question. Here you are actually seeing two homologous pairs. Okay. One homologous pair where two chromosomes are visible and the genes on the chromosomes are also shown on each chromatid. Given diagram shows a pair of homologous chromosomes during meiosis. Maximum crossing over will occur between which gene pairs? Note, I am asking gene pairs, not alleles. Okay. So which two gene pairs will cross over the most? Pause, think. Maybe if you want to draw and work out, do it in your notebook. So let us look at this answer right now. From the two homologous pairs given in the diagram, I can see that there are four genes A, B, C, D on both the homologues. One of the homologues has all the dominant alleles and the other one has the recessive alleles for all the genes. So this is a heterozygote for A, B, C, D genes, this individual. Now I have to tell which gene pairs have maximum chances of getting recombined. Okay, so A and B is a gene pair, B and C is a gene pair, C and D is a gene pair, and A and D is also a gene pair, A and C is also a gene pair. Now I have to tell chances of this non-sister chromatid swapping genes with this non-sister. How are these chances? Which of the pairs will have crossovers more frequently? So in my options, I have A and D, B and C, C and D genes, and A and D genes. Notice that capital A represents the dominant alleles and small a represents recessive. So the answer is crossing over between gene A and D will be the most, because they are most distant from each other. So let's look at the answer. An increase in the distance between the two genes will increase the frequency of crossing over. So because A and D genes are the most distant from each other, there's maximum chance that after crossing over, the product or the recombined chromatids would have either a capital A and small d together, or capital A and capital D, or small a and capital D, and small a and small d. So there are 4 possibilities. So the answer is the last option. Finally, our conclusion is that when two genes are very close together on the same chromosome, crossing over or recombination event would be very low between them. Therefore, they will always be transferred into the gametes together. Okay, if they're far apart from each other, there's less likely chance of them not getting recombined. So if they're far away, chances of them recombining with their alleles are high. That's it. Now you will move on to studying autosomal linkage in more details. Thank you.